Going. This is welcome everyone to the Lopatcong Township Planning Board meeting of September 2020. At this time, I invite you to join us in a silent moment of prayer and followed by the oath of allegiance. You may remain seated for that too. So, moment of prayer. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, I'm required to state that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Beth, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, members Clymer, Coyle.
Here.
Weeks.
Here.
Mayor Mangucci.
Here.
Chairman Van Vliet.
Here.
Member Steinhardt.
Here.
We have a quorum?
Yes.
You have 5, Chairman.
Okay. Okay, at this time, we'll move right on to the old business. Has everyone received a copy of the minutes of the August 26, 2020 meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there any corrections, comments? Hearing none, the minutes will stand as, oh, I'm sorry, we'll take a vote on that. Voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Accepted?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'd like to
none,
abstain, please.
Pardon?
I'd like to abstain. This is Tia.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
No problem. The minutes will stand as published then. We'll move right on to the resolution for the Jessamine Block 65, lots 3 and 4. It's for a minor subdivision and lot consolidation. Has everyone received a copy of the resolution?
Yes.
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 Okay. Any comments on it? Any corrections or anything? Jim, would you like to review it or let it stand the way it is?
The resolution was reviewed by Adam, and I also believe George. Adam didn't have any comments to it. The resolution, I believe, is just for the minor subdivision. It does account for the applicant requesting a vacation of that alleyway, if the board will recall. There is another condition that, off the top of my head, that requires them to access both utilities and traffic from a certain street. All of the conditions were agreed. So, I think I've captured all the conditions the board saw for that. And it's really just for a non-variance minor subdivision.
Very good. Any other comments from the board members? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Beth, roll call, please.
Yes, members Coyle.
Yes.
Weeks.
Yes.
Mayor Mangucci.
Yes.
Chairman Van Vliet.
Yes.
Member Steinhardt.
I believe I need to abstain from this one.
Thank you.
We had one abstention. Any objections? None. So I believe it passes.
Carried.
Okay. I will now open the meeting to public comment if we have any public. Hearing none, we'll close the public comment portion. Before we adjourn, we were discussing earlier before we started the meeting about the Phillipsburg Mall and Jim Kyle's report about it. There were some questions from the members. We received a copy. What we need is the direction of the council to direct us to start and also expend funds on the review of that. And I don't know where it stands. I hear rumors running around, as I say, until we get direction from council, and I don't know how the redevelopment agency comes into this, which is the council anyway, but how that's going to affect what this is going into. I guess they're asking us to investigate the possibility of declaring this property in need of redevelopment. There are certain things that go along with that I'm not sure, I don't know, council wants or doesn't want. Anyway, we're not in a position to really act on anything here, and our participation would be to review it for the council and send our recommendation up to them. They would have to take care of any ordinance or zoning issue that have to be taken there. So that's as far as I know where it rests with the planning board right now. If I'm in error, George, maybe you can help me out, and Jim, you.
But, okay, yeah, I was gonna say Jim can go ahead and take a run at it. We're really at the first part of a two-phase project. And obviously council's gonna have to send it down and ask us to look at it. The first step will be to consider whether you want to have this area declared in need of redevelopment, which is really deciding, one, if it needs redevelopment, but you're also deciding what properties are to be included in the redevelopment plan. And then the second step, which is probably the most important, as long as you believe the property's in need of redevelopment, is the actual redevelopment plan, which will embody essentially a new ordinance or zoning that would allow the developer to go through with a certain type of project, which also requires planning board review and then consensus of the mayor and council. So it's a two-step process. The piece we got now is really the most simple part of it, and that's having it deemed in need of redevelopment. And the thing that the board should probably look at there is whether they believe the area is properly defined. And then from there, I guess we'll be waiting for the further efforts in terms of how they envision the development of the mall and what the actual redevelopment plan is. Because there's nothing in this report that deals with the future plans for the mall. So that's where we are. We're very early in the process. And it will be a two-step process. And Jim, if you want to add more, go ahead.
Yeah, just as a point of clarification, while we're talking about it, a few months ago, before the COVID problem came and we started quarantining, I remember that there was some discussion about having George be participating with, was it Lopatcong or was it Phillipsburg? And I'm not sure if it was this project.
That's correct. I've been off and on in contact with their planner.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, I haven't been in contact with him for, I bet, 8-9 months.
Right. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Because the last time I talked to him, he was indicating that they were working on a plan. They were having difficulty coming up with something that works for the town and the developer. And that's sort of where it was left.
All right. All right. And just to clarify, I'm not sure if at that time there was an ordinance adopted or an authorization from the governing body to this planning board to undertake that analysis. I just don't remember, because that is required under the local lands and redevelopment law.
Maybe the mayor can address that, but I understood that they did authorize funds to be shared with Lopatcong for the planner.
Okay.
Jim,
That's correct. Also in our council meeting back then, and they're coming in October 7th, I believe, is our next meeting. So, maybe one you want to attend. I'm not sure exactly how the council's going to feel about it. I can only explain my own feelings about it at this point. I don't think they really can be any different than what they presented before. So, we'll see.
I'm also, this is just rumor from conversation that I heard that Powhatcong had changed the zoning of it to prohibit more the warehouses from going on it. And that by declaring this in need of redevelopment, it would contain a provision that warehouses could be developed there. So I have no contact at all with Powhat's council or anything like that. So again, this is just things that I'm hearing for what it's worth.
Well, like I said, they're coming in October 7th. We'll have to better direction for you guys.
Well, if you're going to discuss that, Jim, I'll make a point of it attending to the council meeting then.
I'm going to check see if they're coming into executive or public. I'd rather they come into executive myself, so I'll let you know.
Well, if you allow me in, I mean, can offer you anything that I would have. If I'm excluded, well, I'll just come to the meeting if you're going to have any public portion of it.
Okay. I'll be
Other than that, that's where we lie. So the members can peruse what they were sent, but I don't know when or if we're going to act on it until we hear from the council. So that's where it sits, as far as I'm concerned, with the planning board right now.
Chairman, I couldn't hear the mayor very well. It was coming in broken up. Did he recall if there was a resolution authorizing the planning board to undertake?
I spoke to the council president, and he was positive that they authorized sharing the cost of Powhat's planner to do this.
Yeah.
That was as far as it went.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because in order to actually, regardless of sharing a planner and planner costs, in order for the board to act, we would need a resolution from the governing body, just according to Hoyle, so to speak.
Correct.
That enables the planning board to actually conduct the investigation. So just as long as we have that procedural piece in place, that's a necessary piece to actually have in place. So we should have
exactly
that governing body.
So I mean, there's nothing we can do officially to move on this until we get direction from the council.
That's right, and a resolution. That's correct.
Correct.
Gary, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, because my phone's been cutting in and out. I heard some of you and I heard some of Jim. Basically, in a nutshell, we have not passed a resolution at this point for that. We did agree to share the cost for the planner, but nothing as far as going any further with the.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's what we stated.
Okay.
So.
All right.
That's where we stand with that. Other than that, anybody have any other questions or directions that they would need?
No.
So at this point, I will inform you that we have been in touch with Mr. Edelson and about the precast property. He wants to come in at the October meeting. For what purpose, I don't know. I got back to him and indicated that unless we get a stormwater management program, which is where we left it last January, they kind of refused to come up with any kind of plan for stormwater runoff. I think it's necessary. I don't know if we would need a full stormwater management program, but I'm looking for something to tell us what they're going to do with the increased stormwater runoff. Basically, because the impervious cover of the area is way over what the Highlands allows right now. And I don't know how they feel about it. And since they were declared a hazardous material place, I think we should investigate that portion before we allow them to expand any building properties and increase stormwater runoff. But that will be a decision that the planning board will have to come up and make. And,
I agree with you totally, because as I recall, I believe his answer to us was, we were just gonna let it run out the back.
yeah, it was kind of like a joke on his part about
It was.
just saying, oh, well, this is so small, it doesn't matter. Well, I
Yeah.
think it does matter.
Yep, I agree.
We've been more than liberal with him as far as granting him variances to increase the impervious cover. This causes a problem with the parking on there that we would have to take a look at. He did come up with a couple of things, but, you know, he wasn't going to pave it, but then again, he was just going to cover it with, you know, stone or these paving blocks that would allow some grass to grow through it, but that's still considered impervious cover. Even stone now is considered, excuse me, impervious cover. So, I mean, I'm willing to come in if he wants to come in, but those were the conditions I was kind of setting up for. I don't want him coming in with without that and wanting to go for a you know, an approval of the site plan. But
That's more than fair.
I think that's more than fair. And or maybe he's coming in to ask us to dismiss it, the application, and without prejudice, and I'm willing to do that too if he wants to. So anyway, if he's willing to come in, the October meeting will probably be in person. I don't know. I would love to have the professionals there to help me out. If he brings an attorney, I won't go without our attorney. Is that fine with you, Jim?
Yeah, no, that's fine. And
George, could
Chairman,
you make it up or?
What?
I promised you that
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jim.
I promised you I'd reach out to Edelston to find out, and I didn't, so I apologize. Let me call him up and find out exactly what where his client's anticipated presentation is going to be, so I can try to figure out exactly what kind of meeting you're going to require.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that. And George, if you're able to make it up, we'd love to have you, but if you could send a substitute, if Gary wanted to come up, that'd be fine.
No, that's all right. Just let me know when and where, and I'll be glad to come up.
Well, it'll be the regular meeting in October. I don't have my calendar right available.
That's fine.
Well, I know that there were meeting changes.
If I'm not mistaken, that should be the 28th of October.
It's the 28th, yeah. It is the 28th.
I have it in my book. If it's a regular meeting you want to do it at, sure, that's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Just so you know, the November meeting was switched to the 23rd, which is a Monday.
Yes, that's before Thanksgiving, so we don't run into the problem of meeting the night of Thanksgiving Eve.
That's right.
So, of course, I don't know if we're going to be able to get turkeys for that day or not, if they're quarantined also. So.
Sure. I got a few running around out here I can shoot for you. So.
Yeah, I got a few in my backyard too. The deer are chasing them. So.
All right.
Okay, well, if nothing else further, anybody have any comment? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
I'll
moved.
make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, thank you all for joining the meeting tonight, and hopefully we'll get to see you in person in October. So.